Left of the box. In the news, you're going to hear so much about this one. Increased taxes on capital gains. Already, I see business owners and wealthy people screaming how unfair this is, how this is going to rob Canadians of businesses, how businesses are just going to flee the country because of this horrible, horrible tax. Well, let's break this down a little bit. So to help cover some of its multi-billion-dollar commitments, the government is proposing a tax hike on capital gains, the profit individuals make when assets like stocks and second properties are sold. So these are passive incomes, extra money that they just happen to have lying around. They sell a property, they get money. They sell stock, they get money. It's not money they actually worked for. The government is proposing an increase on the taxable portion of capital gains up from the current 50% to 2/3 the annual capital gains of over $250,000. So, for any capital gains that you make under $250,000, it stays at that 50% that it's already at. If it's above that $250,000, then it goes up to, I think it's like 61%.
If it's 2/3, it would be 67, would it not?
67? Yeah, it's in the 60 area. I saw it somewhere. It'll be on one of the other things I have. So for all the people who are able to make more than $250,000 in capital gains, you're going to lose just a little bit more of that. And they are crying. And part of it is that these rich 0.1%ers are terrified of losing their money because they knew if they had to actually work for their money, they would have no money. Like,
Yeah, that's a good point.
They are terrified of losing what they have because if something happened and they lost it, they would never be able to regain it back through work, and they know that. And so they
And again,
cry.
the only reason why they're listening to these people and writing articles on these people about their whining is because they have money.
Mhm,
Because at every other group of people, when something bad happens to them, they just have to eat it. But
mhm.
when the rich people have a 17% increase in their marginal tax rate over 250,000, suddenly we're going to get an article in the National Post every day for the next 6 months.
Mhm.
It's yeah, it's just dumb.
Like again, they're not even losing money because this is from money that they're making extra, passive money that they're making extra. So it's not like they're looking at their bank account right now and taking money from that. So this is just, instead of getting this much, they'll get a little less. So they
It's
aren't
just
even
it's
technically
just
losing money.
profits. It's just your rate of profit,
And
because
it,
that's what, having your capital gains go up is just profit for personal use. So it's just your profit. So profit, meaning the black, meaning plus money,
mm-hmm.
is just going to be less plus money,
Yeah,
not less money, not less, you're not dipping into anything. It's just you're getting less of more.
yeah. This is what you will see on the news for the most part, is them crying. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if this got onto Fox News. This and only this. Not the paragraph below it about the disability benefit amount of only $200 a month. No, you're going to be seeing this in the news.
And then you also got to remember, like, you're going to see people who this doesn't apply to get angry for people who it applies to,
Yeah.
because they really think that just in the next few years, they will have $250,000 in capital gains. And so
Uh-huh.
therefore, I don't want this tax there, because when it's my turn, I don't want it.
Like,
Like it says, it's only 0.1% of people hold that much in capital gains.
I remember my stepfather was very conservative and he hated taxes, of course. And I remember him saying, it's like if you go to a casino and you win like $3 million, then they take you in the back room and they remove this amount from it and they steal from you. And it's like, even if they removed $1 million from that, you still have $2 fucking million. Like, you're not out less money. Like, you still get so much more money.
Yeah, I know. It's more money than people know what to do with.
Like, I'm all for if there's like billionaires here in Canada to tax all of their wealth at 80%. Just take it all. Because if you have, $10 billion and you're left with $2 billion, how does your life change? Like, what is it that you can't do now that you would have been able to do before with that extra $8 billion?
Well, now my yacht has to be gold plated, not platinum plated.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty pissed, actually.
Like the quality of life of people with that type of money, you can take away that much and still nothing would change. And yet, here for people on disabilities, if they had just simply made it so that we could get $2,000 a month, that is literally life saving in many situations. But they don't care. Mm-hmm. So I just want to quickly go through some other comments that were popping up around the capital gains and the disability, and also Mike Morris has a statement on this that is really good. So this person here, Armand, is saying, bad day for entrepreneurship in Canada. Capital gains rate increasing from 50% inclusion to 66%. This increases the net capital gains rate from 27% to 36% compared to the US, which is 20% capital gains, blah, blah, blah. T-Dot resident saying 250,000 in a year seems like a lot of capital gains for most people. Yeah, most people aren't going to have to worry about this. And David here, a tiny portion of earners who will be affected by the increase in the capital gains inclusion don't care about you. Anyone saying the increase will hurt investment proves my point. These guys won't pay a few cents more on the dollar to help the 99%. They hate you. And I think this goes back to your point of people who are never going to make that much that are also crying with these rich people about like, oh no, this capital gains is going to absolutely devastate the country. And he continues by saying, I don't know how else to frame it. We can't afford housing. Healthcare is collapsing. Climate change is going to decimate us. And multimillionaires and billionaires earning passive income more than they could ever spend in many lifetimes demand preferential tax treatment. These guys want to pay less per dollar in taxes than the workers whose backs break to make them rich. Less than essential workers who make all we do together possible. It's obscene.
Yeah, it is.
Declan here, you know who doesn't care about capital gains? 90% of people who will never encounter it or even know what it is. What those people are focused on is making rent, mortgage, affording food, and maybe one day retiring. Fight about capital gains all you like, but most people don't care. And this is just, again, when you see this blowing up in the media, 90% of people will probably never have to worry about this. And then David again just kind of poking fun at this. Honestly, I was considering making $251,000 on capital gains next year, but with the new inclusion rate, I'm going to spend all day on the internet pretending to care about salaried workers not being able to become untaxed billionaires instead. And this is Nikki Ashton, one of the good NDP MPs. We need to actually tax the rich. This means a wealth tax and excess profit tax and cracking down on tax havens. Just saying, tax wealthy, you say? Let's count the ways. A wealth tax of 1% on wealth over 10 million, 2% over 50 million, and 3% over 100 million would generate 32 billion annually. A windfall tax on major industries, including grocery and oil and gas, would raise tens of billions and rein in greedflation. Tell Ottawa we need a windfall tax. Workers pay on 100% of their earnings. Investors only pay on 50% of their income in capital gains. We need to raise the capital gains rates to 100% instead of favoring wealthy people. And Canadians are struggling with the impossible cost of living with corporate profits skyrocketing. Take action. Also, today's budget is a reminder that if you ask capital class to contribute a dime more to society, they're going to call you Stalin, so might as well take the dollar. And I agree with that.